and welcome back to Rock Tumbling Weekly. It's time for another week of viewing all of my rock tumbling projects in process, and I'm really excited to have you back. Today in Houston, Texas, it is a nice fall morning, so the temperature feels perfect out there. So it's great to go out there and wash some rocks and clean things up without worrying about getting too bit up by mosquitoes or dehydrating. But it is morning and I am tired, so I have my morning coffee. I hope you have a beverage while you watch this episode. So I've got a lot of good things in the barrels and I'm really excited to show them to you today. So let's get started. This batch of Moonstone is looking really good after its second week in course. Just a quick peek through tells me that this will all need another week in course at least, but it's looking really good. It's a lot smoother than it was last week, and I'm still loving the variety of the colors in this Moonstone. I've got peach, and red, and black, and gray. Oh, it looks so nice. But yeah, while they're nice and smooth, they've got a good shape. They've still got a lot of like ridges and crevices. It would be nice for those to be worked out before we go on to medium. Ooh, that one's pretty. Pretty, pretty. All right, let's get this back in course. Here is the tiger's eye after another run in course. Last week I looked through all of the stones and decided that the majority of them could use another run through course. So I did pick out some that were ready for medium and ran the rest. So I think this has been about 3 weeks in course, and today I'm going to move it on to medium because it's looking really nice and smooth and just really ready for the next stage. But geez, look at how nice and golden this is. And the banding on these stones. Wow. I've owned tiger's eye, but I never worked with it until now. And it is just really lovely. I am so happy with this batch of rough. So nice. All right, let's get this into medium grit. So I know this one looks a little bit different, but the Lepidolite, I'm just playing it by ear at this point. And I added some more rough to the Lepidolite and ran it in course for a week, but the grit really hasn't broken down and it really hasn't given it shape. So I've added more grit. I mean, there's no need to wash and clean these stones when you already have a lot of grit in the slurry that you can use. I added some more coarse grit. I added some kitty litter to thicken this up because maybe a thicker slurry will grind against those rocks better and give them a better shape. And I'll add a little bit more ceramic media too to get that grit in there and help, give these pieces some shape. So I'll pop some more ceramic media in there, get the lid on this guy, and put it back on the tumbler. The Howlite has just finished 5 days in medium grit, and it's feeling really smooth. I'm really happy with how this is turning out so far. Some of this Howlite has some brown on it, which I haven't seen before, but hey, it's natural. And some of it's fairly dark with a lot of the gray and black in it. But I like the variety in this batch. And as I said, it's feeling really smooth. And so I'll get this in a wash cycle and then I'll move it on over to fine grit. The Apatite has just finished a week in fine grit and it is feeling so nice. So if you remember last week, I said that the Apatite tended to have these little microfractures along the surface that was catching the slurry. And after a week in fine, that's not occurring at all, meaning that the surface is really nice and smooth and that the fine grit has really worked out those microfractures, and this is ready for extra fine. It's so beautiful. I'm so happy with this batch. So I'm going to give it a good wash cycle. I'll get it into extra fine. And I probably won't leave it in extra fine for a full week. I'll probably just leave it for a couple of days and then get this into a dry polish. The Indigo Gabbro, or Mr. Merlinite, has just finished 1 week in fine grit, and it's looking super smooth and flashy. Really loving this batch. But like the Apatite, I'm going to experiment a little bit with not running this in extra fine for a full week. I'll probably just do like 4 days because this seems to be a softer stone because it's just been working up really fast. And I don't want that extra time in extra fine to just give it the opportunity to just bang against each other or beat each other up. So I'll let the extra fine do its job, and then we'll get this into polish. So I'll check on it in a couple of days. Okay, we're coming back to the Gabbro because it didn't look quite like I wanted it to move on to extra fine as I was examining it further. So what I did was I dumped all of this out and I let it dry so that I could really see the surface of the stones. And they got really banged up. So I had a good look around and I saw that one had broken up. And it looks like when this broke up, it just wrecked the surface of all of these. It appears that granites are my nemesis stone because something like this happened with Larvikite 2 weeks ago. The granites tend to do really good in coarse and medium. Then when you get to fine and extra fine, the weeks of the tumbling process has started to weaken points in the stone, and then they break at the most highly sensitive stage. So I'm actually going to take this back to 120 and smooth out the surface abrasions that happened, and then we'll move it forward. But I'm going to do some more research on tumbling granites because, as I've mentioned, maybe this just doesn't need as much time in fine and extra fine, the softer stones, to be able to do the job. And if that's the case, then I want to keep any kind of additional weakening to a minimum and actually get them ciccessfully to and through polish. So we'll see these next week. Okay, this citrine is looking super nice. 1 week in extra fine, and it's feeling good. Super smooth, looking nice. So I'm really excited about this one. I'll get this in a really good wash cycle. It'll probably take a couple of wash cycles to get all of this ceramic media and the barrel and everything just completely clean enough for polish. But this is a really nice batch. And I did have a couple break up either in the stage before, but these ones have been really resilient. So looking super nice. Let's get these cleaned up. Okay, now it's time to check on the polish for green Aventurine. It's been in polish for 1 week. So this is its first check. And yeah, look at that. Really shiny. Really nice. Wow. Try another one. Yep. Look at that shimmer. So nice. All right, just one more. I'll dig down in there and we'll see. All right. Yeah. Super nice. All right. This batch is done. Awesome. So I'll give these a really good burnish and then I'll show you pictures of the finished product. Okay, today I am starting a repair bucket and I'm taking the Larvikite that we had before that had some issues with breakage and undercutting, and I'm putting that back in. But I also had a big box of other quartz that just needed more 120. It just needed more. Like these were ones that couldn't progress in their current batches. So to fill up some space, I'm adding some more of that quartz in there. I'm going to add a lot more ceramic media to make sure that all of this is cushioned really good. And I'll put this back in medium and we'll take a look at the Larvikite next week, see if there's any more undercutting, if it's smoothed out any better, and then we will decide where to go from there. Well, thank you for joining me again this week on Rock Tumbling Weekly. And, you know, I've made some progress and that green Aventurine came out really nicely. I'm really happy with that. It's a little boost after some of the batches that didn't turn out so well. But, you know, this is a hobby that isn't about being able to do things perfectly all the time. It's about constantly having challenge and having the perseverance to take something back and try something new and figure out exactly how it works. And that's why keeping regular logs is important. And, you know, just having some patience and curiosity and, you know, determination to get something right when it's not working right. So if you're a beginner rock tumbler and this is interesting to you, I do have an online course through Udemy called Rock Tumbling 101, and the link is in the description below. So this will get you started in the rock tumbling hobby, and then as you get more advanced, you can try some of these other stones that I'm working with that aren't quite so friendly to me, like granite. And also, you can hit the subscribe button and you'll see whenever I post a new gemstone video. So thanks for joining me this week, and I'll see you next week.